Closed captioning for the Casey Malone Show is sponsored by Hunter Stevens Land Title Agency. Integrity, service, and commitment you can trust.
Oh yeah, Casey Malone is serving up local. It's time for the stories of our region, the tastes, the sights, the sounds, and the people in and around the valley. Get ready for some local flavor on the Casey Malone Show.
Today, if it's February 2nd, it's Groundhog Day. I also prepare my easy and tropical key lime pie. But first, a local vehicle that stood for quality and innovation, the Packard. We're here at the Packard Automobile Museum,
yes,
Warren, Ohio. Executive Director is Marianne Porinchak. And I don't think people realize the history of the Packard automobile. I think being from the Mahoning Valley, we take it for granted. But this car, the whole line, it was really trailblazing in the automobile industry.
It was. They were on the cutting edge of the automobile industry. They had some innovations. In fact, we have a long list in the other room of Packard firsts. They were the first to put a wheel on the car in this country. And they took a lot of abuse from the Horseless Carriage magazine over that type of thing. They were
Horseless Carriage magazine. I mean, that just goes to show you the age.
Yes.
And then in doing some research, I didn't realize 1899 was when this company, and for 4 years it was here.
Right here in Warren, Ohio, about 2 blocks from here, they built their very first car.
So the oldest one is at Lehigh University, which was the alma mater of
J.W. Packard.
And this is the other oldest.
The second oldest car in existence, yes.
And I mean, what are some of the features that really stand out compared to the other ones of this era?
Well, for one thing, these patent leather wheel wells here, these fenders, these are patent leather. And
that's not metal.
That is not metal, that is patent leather.
I mean, Oriental rugs.
Yes.
And how did you, where did this come from? How did you acquire this? Yes.
Terry Martin, who was basically the driving force behind this museum movement back he started in the 70s collecting Packard stuff. This is his car, was his car, and he sold it to a collector, and it's been with us ever since.
Now this is the Model F from 1903.
Correct.
Is this the car that you were talking about that had the first steering wheel?
No, they actually put a steering wheel on right after the 1900, but this is one. This one actually has a tilt wheel, oddly enough.
Really?
Yeah, we think that today's cars came up with the first idea of a tilt wheel, but if you slide that cylinder up, that wheel tilts back so the driver can get behind it. But you don't, that's the extent of the luxuries here. You got to use both feet and both hands to drive this car.
And the seat doesn't move up and back.
Exactly.
Yeah, no
there's
seat warmers.
Nothing to stop you from being pelted out in the front.
So yeah, there's no windshield.
No.
The Europeans love these cars.
Oh, even now. A lot of the Packard cars are going overseas because they're still seen as the desired vehicle in a collection. If you've got a Packard, and a lot of them are going to Asia and to Europe. There are brokers in this country. That's their sole purpose, to find specific Packard cars for their collectors. This car had hydraulic windows, which was really unheard of at the time. This was Mrs. Packard's personal limousine, and it's only done preservation work on it. This is the color of the interior originally, and she didn't like it, so she had it changed to this blue color. But she had, let me show you this. This is kind of cool.
I mean, look at the woodwork. No way! Yeah, talk to her limo driver. Giles, please go through Burger King. Now that is what, the Goddess of Speed?
The Goddess of Speed.
I did not even know she had a name. I always just,
some people
saw
call
that as
her Lady
Packard.
Chasing a Donut.
But this is really the most symbolic, I think, of all of their hood ornaments.
Exactly. It's the longest running hood ornament in automotive history. When you ordered your Packard, you could order it any way you wanted. That's not something that Burger King came up with first, you know. You could order it what other color scheme you wanted, whatever hood ornament you wanted, whatever aftermarket features you wanted on it, you could have them in your Packard. because this company catered to the client, to the buyer, way before what Lexus does. They had the corner on this market. They catered to those people. So the Cormorant was the new, represented the new design, the new crispness. You can see it's just a lot cleaner look to it.
Yes. Now every year you have a motorcycle exhibit?
Yes. It has a different theme every year, but this is our 18th annual motorcycle exhibit, and we feature the motor this year. And it's here through May.
The motor.
The motor.
I mean, but the Indian, now how do you acquire all these things for your displays?
Well, we have a very, very good motorcycle exhibit committee.
Okay.
I call this the People's Exhibit because this exhibit is created by motorcycle enthusiasts for motorcycle enthusiasts. And the whole goal is to feature motorcycle history and to illustrate how important it is to our culture and to transportation history as a whole. So it does have a purpose for being here.
And this space, this is available if people wanted to rent the actual...
Oh, absolutely. This makes a wonderful space for a party. We've had corporate cocktail parties, we've had fundraisers, we've had weddings, we've had wedding receptions. Instead of people sitting around at a banquet hall staring at the mirrors around the perimeter,
why not look
they
at
get
Packards?
to get up and look at cars.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it's an icebreaker. So the corporate events here go really well because you bring a bunch of people in that really aren't familiar with with each other from across the country, and here they find common ground. Even if you're not a car person per se, there's family history here, there's Packard Electric history, and everybody knows somebody who was at Packard Electric.
Exactly.
I mean, that is our valley, Packard Electric, and that all started with the individuals that we represent here and their history and their legacy. So even if you think you're not a car person or a motorcycle person, I'm sure that you will find something here that interests you.
We'll be right back with more local flavor. I'm here at the Magic Tree Pub and Eatery with owner Phil Rita, and you know his craft beer selection here at the Magic Tree is the largest in the region. And now, what are you doing with wine?
We are so excited to bring the area's very first wine draft system right here to the Magic Tree in Boardman, Ohio, and it is like drinking wine from the winery. We received the barrel directly from the winery, and it is fresh and delicious to the very last drop. Come to the Magic Tree's Wine and Spirit Room and you see for yourself. Cheers.
Here at the Upstairs, we cater to everyone. When you come through the door, I treat you as though you're my friend. So there's all kinds of options here at the Upstairs. There's something on that menu for everyone. Great food, friendly service, very clean restaurant. There's a lot of restaurants, a lot of good restaurants in our community. So I always feel honored when someone comes here. I want everybody coming through that door to leave here with a good experience.
Mayflower Woolham is your full-service independent insurance agency for what matters most. Home, auto, life, boat, RV, umbrella. We'll find the right product at the right price for your family. Mayflower Woolham with 3 locations to serve you.
At the Vein Center and Med Spa, we realize the serious health issue varicose veins can cause. We know it's more than just cosmetic. We provide you with caring and personal service in a clean and friendly atmosphere. All vein procedures are done in our office during convenient and flexible hours by a medical doctor with over 20 years experience. The Vein Center and Med Spa also offers fillers and neurotoxin procedures, hydrofacials, and laser hair removal services. Call the Vein Center and Med Spa for a free consultation. See why our patients leave satisfied. Now accepting Anthem and Highmark.
$5 Burger Mondays at Sadie's Place, inside the Best Western, Route 46, Austintown.
Part of growing up in Youngstown is growing up with Rowley Brothers Markets. Even friends who have moved out of town come to shop and say hi when they're home for a visit.
And my family has always shopped at Rowley's, and today they are still my favorite grocery store. My recipes depend on the best ingredients, and that's why I get them at Rowley's, where you'll always find the freshest food at the best prices.
Rowley Brothers is a proud sponsor of the KC Malone Show. The quality that customers have come to expect is true local flavor.
I am not a very good baker at all, but when I find an easy recipe with very few ingredients that are basically foolproof, I all of a sudden am a really good baker. You are going to love this recipe. Do you like key lime pie? I love key lime pie. And you know, key limes aren't always readily available. You know, the little teeny limes that you'll see in different seasons in the grocery store. But I've discovered a key lime juice that is available 365 days a year. It is Nellie and Joe's. It is 100% key lime juice. It is delicious, it is tart, and it is a perfect substitute for fresh limes. So you can enjoy key lime pie any time of year, not just when key limes are in season. I have dressed up this recipe a little bit, added some tequila, because I really don't like it sweet. I like it more on the tart, and I think it adds to the citrus. And I've messed with the recipe just a little bit that's on the back of this bottle. And we are now going to enjoy my creation. Let's go over the ingredient list. For this Key West lime margarita pie, you'll need one 14-ounce can of sweetened condensed milk, 1/2 cup of Nellie and Joe's Key West lime juice or fresh squeezed, 3 egg yolks, grated zest from 2 limes, 1/4 cup tequila, and 1 9-inch graham cracker crust. This is very easy, very little preparation is needed. Now I do like to tone down the sweetness. I really like a limey key lime pie. And before I bake or add anything to my pre-made crust, how easy is that? I just add a little bit of salt. Because salt, a little bit of sweet, I think it works together. This is another little creation of mine. I've preheated the oven to 350 degrees. Now we'll take a can of sweetened condensed milk. I'm going to use this little handy dandy spatula for my chopper. It seems to scrape all of the contents of the can out much easier than a regular size spatula, because you don't want to skimp on this. This is a very important ingredient. I've tried it with the fat-free version. Doesn't seem to make a big difference, but I'm going full calories. Very little calories are saved with the fat-free version, and it costs more. Store brand on the condensed milk is also fine to use. Done that both ways. All right, so that's in the bowl. Now we are going to add our 1/2 cup of the key lime juice, 1/4 cup of tequila, another sweetness cutter, 3 egg yolks. Use the egg whites the next day and make yourself a nice healthy omelet with egg whites. And last but not least, get out your handy dandy microplane and just zest 1 lime. And then the other lime zest we'll use when it's finished before serving. And you can use the regular, blender that you have, hand mixer, but I'm just going to use my immersion blender because all you want to do is really combine these. It's not like you have to blend it for a long time. You just want to quickly combine it. After mixing, if you see a lot of air bubbles in this batter, just mix it lightly with your spoon or spatula and they'll fall right out, because you just don't want to have a lot of big bubbles in your pie when you go to bake it. All right, so I've stirred out any air bubbles that were really big, because it just makes for an unattractive pie. That's it. Now I will pour this into the graham cracker crust and make sure you try to get every last drop out. Oh my goodness, does this look good? Now what I'm going to do is take this, I'm going to put it in my oven for 17 minutes. That's it, 17 minutes. After 17 minutes, I pull the pie out. It's still a little jiggly in the center, so just let it sit at room temperature and cool for about 10 to 15 minutes. And then, because I have a pre-made crust, it comes with this handy dandy dome. Cover it, put it in your refrigerator for at least a few hours. Overnight's great, and then we will get it ready to plate. So here is our finished product. Please let it chill at least a few hours. I like it to chill at least overnight if possible. And then prior to serving, take your other key lime and grate the entire outside of it on top of the pie. Isn't that a beautiful presentation? Now look at how beautiful and fresh this pie is. Now I don't think it needs any whipped cream topping, but if you'd like to kick it up a notch, you can make your own. Or again, nothing's wrong with Ready Whip. There we go, and just add a little to the top before serving. And this is so easy, so delicious, you will wow and astound your friends and family. Look at that, beautiful. I love this. This is my new go-to dessert. You are going to love this. Go to my website, caseymaloneshow.com, and look for my Key West Lime Margarita Pie. You will satisfy all of your guests. Delicious. But it's served with it, you don't need anything. It's already got the tequila in it. Cheers. The Casey Malone Show will be right back with more local flavor.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Barnard. I've been giving the people of our valley free advice for 30 years, and my message has never changed. If you're involved in an automobile accident, don't try to handle it yourself. Call a lawyer. A lawyer will be your representative, dealing with doctors, medical insurance, and all the red tape that you may encounter. Hiring a lawyer doesn't mean you'll end up in court. And remember, there are no upfront fees on personal injury cases.
That's good advice. Need a lawyer? Learn more at ElizabethBernardLaw.com.
To own a business where your name's on the window can be pretty cool. That's my family. My name is Danny Catullo, and I'm the owner of Catullo Prime Meats. My grandfather started the business in 1962. I was able to take our old style butcher shop and bring it out to the new age using e-commerce to get our products to more customers. When we started shipping, there was not a ton of information out there. That's where we really worked with FedEx so they could be able to help us with our perishable shipping. We were taking on new purchases that we never had to make before. Boxes, coolers, ice packs, anything that was involved around shipping. So we can no longer do this with the cash that we had on hand. So because of the Plum Card from American Express and all of its benefits, it was a natural fit to help grow our business. And when someone calls and lets you know that you made their dinner, that's satisfaction that you can't get anywhere else.
I am blessed with a wonderful husband. He's stuck with me through thick and thin, and he's a fantastic father. So when he needed long-term care, not just any place would do, we did our research. Everyone said, trust the name you know, Briarfield. With all those locations, there's always one close. That made it easy for me and the kids to visit more often, Briarfield.
Trust the name you know, Briarfield. proudly serving the Valley for over 20 years.
Mayflower Woolham is your full-service independent insurance agency for your business. We work with several companies so you have choices for your insurance needs. Commercial properties, professional liability, bonding, and general. Trust Mayflower Woolham.
The Komara family is thankful to be a part of many great organizations within our local community.
Organizations like Making Kids Count.
We rely on donations from local residents and businesses to make our mission possible in the Valley. Komara Jewelers has been a sponsor of us for several different events that we've had. We're so thankful for the community that we live in and could not do this without them.
Join Komara Jewelers in supporting Making Kids Count and make a difference today.
4 for $5 till 6. Happy hour at Sadie's Place inside the Best Western, Route 46, Austintown. Our quest begins at 4 a.m. We leave the area and we're heading up to Punxsutawney. Father Tim is the ambassador for Groundhog Day. And how many years have you been doing this, Father?
I'd say about 30 years.
What made you start this pilgrimage every year for Groundhog Day? What made you think this was a good idea?
Well, I'm sort of a rounder around here. I happen to be with Rick Jones. It was around Christmas time. And I said, Rick, guess where I'm going? I said, I have a reservation at the only hotel in Punxsutawney. He says, I know the guy that runs the whole town, Big John Miserak. He said, he'll take care of us. I said, Rick. And, you know, so anyhow, that was the start. And John Miserak, he ran the whole town and that whole part of, I guess it's western Pennsylvania. But so Rick and I came up here, and that was 30 years ago, and it's come a long way since then.
Jim Cawley is the Lieutenant Governor for the state of Pennsylvania. How important is Groundhog Day for this little borough of Punxsutawney?
It's not only important for Punxsutawney, it's in fact important for all of Pennsylvania. There are 30,000 plus people out there in sub-zero temperatures who have been here for hours. It's just a wonderful demonstration of friendship and fellowship and goodwill. It's a great place to be.
Have you been to Groundhog Day before?
I've been to Punxsutawney many times, but this is my first time at Groundhog Day, so I'm really enjoying it.
And what do you think the prediction will be from Phil?
Well, Phil whispered in my ear last night in Groundhogese, and he made me swear that I wouldn't tell, so I can't share it with you. I'm sorry.
Now, you're a very lucky person. Now, where did you take Groundhogese? What university offers that course?
Temple University, of course.
Well, it is 3 degrees outside, but inside here, the hunting club is where it's nice and warm, and this is where the inner circle and the media is allowed. Bob Roberts is part of the inner circle. How do you get such distinction, Bob?
Well, you're nominated to be in the inner circle, and then it has to pass a stringent vote. And that's how I got in, and now I'm trying to figure out how to get out.
Bill Dealey is the president of the Inner Circle, and you possess the magic cane.
Without this cane, you cannot speak Groundhogese. That's the translation factor. So as long as I'm holding it, I'm able to speak with Phil and communicate whether we're going to have a spring or more winter.
This is an amazing magic stick.
Yes, it is.
And where does this reside when it's not here today?
This is kept in as president. We keep it and we just pass it on to the next president right down the line.
Well, good luck. We're going to head down and we're waiting for the big prediction.
We're out the door. We're ready to do it.
My new knob entrance is a sight to behold. Like my followers, faithful followers, strong and bold. And so ye faithful, there is no shadow to see.
Celeste Zach is here from Hillside, New Jersey, celebrating her 60th birthday. Is this your first Groundhog Day?
No, I went when I was 50, so this is my second.
So this is like a bucket list issue here?
Yes, it is. It is.
And I mean, isn't this amazing? What did you think?
I was so glad. No more winter. Early spring, the first time.
Hard to believe. Maybe spring in the Antarctic.
Yes.
How long have you been waiting for Phil's prediction?
About 4 hours. We've been here since about 3 o'clock this morning. We drove up here from Altoona. I drove here from Annapolis. and it's been freezing, but so exciting tonight. It's been so great.
This is Dan, and what made you come down today?
We are from the Christianity American Legion, Post A65 PA, bus trip. And there's a bunch of us that it is like a bucket list, but we're not like working a bucket list, but it's just what we want to do. It is beyond what we thought it would be. We've had a blast and no regrets.
Well, Ken, this is your first Groundhog Day. What'd you think?
I had to be a virgin. I thought it was great, and what I like so much about it is nobody really knew if it was going to be 6 more weeks of winter or if spring was right around the corner. And I had a feeling that either choice was going to create a great big cheer because I think people just wanted to get the heck out of here.
Can you believe this? This is the biggest crowd in the history of Groundhog Day, and you're here for it.
They were cheering Phil, 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 and I was thinking about somebody else, but then the groundhog came out, so it's good to be here.
Okay, here's proof that Father Tim has been here for the last 30 years. Look at this. We're wearing the ugly Christmas sweater. Our hair's a little more red. And how has the evolution of Groundhog Day from 30 years ago to this day today, which was the largest crowd in the history?
I just think it's, become more and more popular, and of course it's popular today because it's on Saturday. I was here last year, and we just had about half the crowd. So it's just gotten more and more and more popular, and it's just something to do, and it's free.
The Casey Malone Show is sponsored in part by Denise and John York and the DeBartolo Corporation.